Discipleship is more this. Is more just a normal conversations. And I said there's only so much that you can teach in a session, an hour in the church, or a lesson that I give by discipleship.
And I think if you want to go deeper, it's that ability for people to ask questions, and you to break it down to them. That helps them to comprehend. Which you can't do that in a message, you know. But in a discipleship, you can.
And to be honest, I probably prefer that.
Oh yeah, we do this more than we preach.
I could stop doing Sunday morning. I could. I mean, I can't because that's what I need to do. But for myself, I could say, if I could do this every day, I would do this every day with my people. I think discipleship is the thing that interests me the most, and not the system of discipleship.
Exactly.
But the relation, the relation of discipleship.
But you gotta have chemistry with people.
Yeah, but that's what I meant with the kids. Your kids, I think often it's not like that, but your kids should be your first disciples, right? Should be your main disciples because you spend so much time with them, and you do it from beginning. So you're so involved in their whole worldview. If you do it right, those could be your best assistants and people that follow you later on. Because otherwise, people still have baggage, right? You get them when they're, 20, 25? Okay. They're going to have, sometimes they have a good history. Most of the time, they don't have a very good history.
And I think our kids will because of the healthy environment, and then also we disciple them. We talk to their values. And I think, I would say the law of the first voice. If you're not the first voice in your kid, your teenager's life, they're going to hear something from someone else. But when you speak to them, they're going to interpret everything that you said. By anyone else is saying by what you said. But if you're the second voice and they heard from all their friends, the internet, and they come, then it's much harder.
And they spend 8 hours a day at school with their friends and with their weird teachers, right? Seriously.
Nowadays.
I mean, this has been the hardest thing for my wife, but also the best decision that I made for her. There's not many decisions I make for her, but I said I want our kids to be either homeschooled or to go to private school. So we did 1 or 2 years private school for the first 2, but that's so crazy expensive. You're like, what to do? So started homeschooling them. I always say we homeschooled them, but I didn't. So she homeschooled.
It was a we decision, but she did all the work. I guess.
And then of course, did she know everything? No, that's not the point. But she spent a lot of time with them. And is there things that are lacking? Well, probably. There's probably things that you get at school, but there's other things that you get that you never get there. So and because of that, we're such a close family. You can do everything together. So you have so much more influence, and I look at so many kids, also pastors' kids. I look at them, I'm like, oh, have mercy, this is crazy. Because if you're in this ministry monster thing, to be in the ministry is probably the worst thing for the kids.
It is.
It's horrible.
It is. Because they have to share their parents. There's demand put upon you, and they see the thanklessness of ministry. It's like Jesus healed the all the lepers. Only one said thank you. And we don't do it for that, but for them it's very hard to see how families treated
and losing their friends because people get offended in church, so they leave. Kids leave, so they lose their friends. If you're like us, keep moving. So, right, you're like military kids almost because you keep moving from base to base. So those things are not. But there's benefits. If you're more intimate with your kids.
But I think explaining that to them and help them, but it is hard for them. And, we had that happen too with a family leave in our kids are like, what happened?
And it's not their fault.
It's not their fault. And it is difficult. But I think the blessing is telling we're called as a family together. We always did that. Even when they were little, we started the children's church like, hey, this is your thing. Make the kids feel welcome. So we didn't make it like just mom and dad are in ministry and the kids are just there. But we're doing this as a family. We're called as a family. And but it's not easy. And I tell them, we always told their pastors and leaders also say, don't treat them differently. Like, treat us in this issue where their parents were not your pastor, their pastor. You're their, and give them that. So our kids, still say, Dad, they still know because if they come and complain about something, we're going to talk to them about it. They're like, so still we get treated like PKs. But I think trying to minimize that as much as possible to where, like, hey, if they tell you stuff, you don't need to tell us unless we need to help. but we want that to be a safe place that they can come and get counsel and know that it's safe. And we told our kids also, we told them that, like, these guys are there for you. We recognize their anointing and their gift, and you know, we're their boss, we're the lead pastor, but in this case, they're your parents. Yeah. You know, and kind of create that environment, which is important.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say is some of the issues maybe for our generation, it's like that, you know, say maybe the 15-year-olds to 24, what are those issues that you're seeing?
What are the issues that the kids 15 to 24 are facing in their lives?
They're facing. I mean, there's a major
you have access to, this generation has access to information, and not just information, lust, all the worst of society has to offer, beheading videos, porn videos at your fingertips. So you have it accessible 24 hours a day. I think kids are forced to grow up too quickly. I mean, I don't like too many laws, but there probably should be a law that kids shouldn't have smartphones before they're 15 or 16.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, get away from that and that kind of pressure. There's stuff that they see they should never see. So when we grew up, we had no accessibility to that.
Oh, no.
Right? And if you wanted to do weird stuff, you had to go to weird places to, right?
You had to really look for it.
Yeah, you had to really look for it. And now you do it in the privacy of the bathroom. You know, you can do it anywhere and anytime. And so it's not just that.
And you're not even looking for it. You just clicked something wrong.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know,
So what I'm saying, you become more of a victim.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not that this is a dirty generation. No, you have so much more information, also good stuff, but mostly bad stuff. So much more pressure that I think because we were talking about discipleship, more and more it becomes important that you have the right kind of people in your life, because you can't escape it. You cannot escape it. You can't. Okay. So someone told me, oh, you have to put a filter on their phone. I'm like, filter? I said, these kids. I said, within 2 seconds they will know how to install an app to get around the filter. I said, there's no way that we could do anything with this. So they just need to become stronger. You can't avoid this stuff. They'll see it. There's pretty much no choice. They will see it. They will get exposed to this kind of stuff. So they need to have people in their life they can go to, and not just their parents. They need to have some. That's what I was talking about, right? They need to have role models that are just a couple of years older. Not. Yes, it's good to have role models that are double their age. They're like father figures, but they need to have people that are a few years older. It could actually mentor them to a certain level. Like, oh, I know exactly what you don't even have to explain it to me. I know what you saw. I know what you did. I know what kind of pressure or depression you're under or whatever. I don't know if there's ever been more depression than right now. It's crazy.
It's overwhelming. Huh?
The suicide and that age, it's crazy. How much suicide and with those ages, or not? I mean, drug use, alcohol abuse.
I think, with like you were saying, the social media, it used to be like you would see the movie star, you'd see the athlete, but you don't really have much exposure to their personal life. Mm-hmm. They don't have a platform for their opinions.
Yeah.
But now you got celebrities, musicians, all this that have a following, and then they're out like, oh, well, I slept with 3 people at one time, and they're promoting this lifestyle that is, and people look up to them, and it's like you celebrate them in their gift, but they have no character.
Somebody just asked me, they because they had as a desire for their future wife to still be a virgin. He's a virgin, but he wants her to be a virgin, right? So he has certain standards, and then he turned around and said, "Are my standards too high?" And I'm like, no. No, your standards are not too high. It's a good desire to have. I'm not saying everybody needs to demand that, but it's a good desire to have, right? But because they get
countercultural.
Because they get exposed to, okay, hardly anybody is like that anymore. I said, well, the thing is, they are there, but you're not exposed to those because they don't put themselves out, right? They're not gonna open their blouse on the social media to get likes. They're not out there like that.
Selfies all day long.
Yeah, they're not interested in that. So I said, you're not exposed to them, but they're still there. There's a lot of people that are not interested in this kind of lifestyle at all. Yeah. So for me, what is interesting to see is that you actually see a lot of, still not in a good way, but you have more guys come out and being a little bit more traditional, being a little more desiring to like old kind of lifestyle, because they see the value in that, but they just don't know how to do it because their dads are all woke, kind of weird kind of guys.
Yeah. And I think that's, like we talk about the pendulum, we swing towards this liberal lawlessness, but then people see it's not attractive. They see the perversion, they see the fruit of it, And even those, they're not being Christ, they swing back because they're like, this isn't good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, celebrating party, but look at alcoholism, look at the drug addiction, look at, people dying in the prime of their life.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at Joe, the Friends star and all that, OD and what's going on, and Michael Jackson and Whitney and all these people that phenomenal, had all the money, had all the, but were broken and empty people.
Yeah.
And that's not celebrating.
Yeah.
People promiscuous, but on there cheating and unfaithful, and marriages are falling apart, and they're casualties of
Yeah.
those things.
You see a lot of young guys, weird, that are gravitating towards more Orthodox Christianity or to Islam because it's more strict, right? So people are actually looking for laws or rules and regulations because the church has gotten so far away from it. You can do whatever you want. God's not like that. No, it's good to have values,
It is. I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, I want someone to be hard on me.
Yeah.
Like, I need someone to be hard on me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, and I was a
The
bit
guys are
taken
supposed
aback.
to be hard on each other.
Well, this was a girl.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
But she was saying, because if not, I'm not going to change. I need someone to come in. And so, and I understand what she was saying, but like this mamby-pamby, lovey-dovey, it doesn't work. You need accountability. Accountability is strong accountability. Not that we become controlling, but like people who would tell you straight, get in your face, and tell you better stop this, you're heading towards destruction.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
So I think there's especially for the next generation, they struggle with the factor because I think they all want to be loved, be accepted, right? And then there's the whole woke agenda, which plays into accepting, loving.
Yeah.
And so they face the struggle on because I don't believe that people who have a struggle with homosexuality or whatever are bad people. But just because I think there is a struggle there. Like, how do you love someone and yet disagree with them? I think that's a real problem.
That's a good point, and I think
how to do it.
No, and I think the church has not been a good example.
No.
Right, because we said we loved people, but the way we treated them was horrible. So, and I do think you can disagree with someone and love them. So for me, my kids are always the best example. So I always love them, but I correct them and I tell them they can't do certain things. So can they have ice cream? Well, I want to qualify that statement. Yes, they can have ice cream sometimes,
Not
but
three times a day.
they can't have it 3 times a day. They can't have it for breakfast. Right. So can they do something? Can they have something? Yeah. I think the church has at first been too. It's not even confrontational. Just kind of hated on people. Kind of dismiss them as people, not just for
We need to love the person, hate the sin. But we end up hating sin, and we end up making the person.
Yeah, and treating them, mistreating them, and I don't. So for me, because a lot of times the conversation gravitates towards homosexuality or something like that. For me, it's not that like that. It's sexuality. Because is there much difference between living together in fornication, right, without being married, or homosexuality? No, it's about sexuality, doing it God's way. Right? Or is there so much difference between all the other things that we do? No, I don't think so. And I think the dismissal that we had over certain groups of people, and especially homosexuality, has been horrible. So we could approach it in a different way.
Yeah.
I think we can totally. I think most of the time it's because of the examples that they had.
Yeah.
We had the whole phase that they say, I'm born this way. Okay, it doesn't matter anymore how you were born. It doesn't matter how you were born, if you were born this way, because you need to be born again, right? So, but we can't even use that argument anymore. Now you just need to be accepting of everything that you do or think. No, look, I love my kids. It doesn't matter what they do, but I don't accept everything, and especially in my house.
Yeah.
Now, I think you said it earlier. You can do certain things. You said it in the car, right? You can. Okay, if you don't want to come on this Friday, that's fine. You don't have to come, but don't be a leader. So that's the same thing. Look, you are my son. You are my daughter. And if you want to do that, okay, that's your prerogative. You're all adults, but you're in my house. So in my house, you can't do it. Because I had people tell me, you can't tell your kid what to do. I said, watch me. Of course I can tell him what to do.
There's a standard and there's a culture in the house of how we live and we respect each other and how we do things.
Yeah, and if you don't accept that, okay, that's fine. Don't leave in my house.
You're free to go rent an apartment somewhere.
You're over 20, move.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. But I think, that is the thing. Acceptance is not agreement. And so I can accept you and love you, but disagree with you and not condone what you're doing.
Yeah, as the person,
I mean, it's, now people think they're cats. They think they're, it's gone to the craziness to where like,
Yeah.
that's not acceptance, that is
Yeah.
insanity.
But if everybody, so if Christianity is okay, but this is who God created me to be. No, the thing is, if I would use that argument, I could have an adulterous affair and be okay with it, right? I could look at a woman, I'm like, whoo. Not that I go around doing that, but that would be an excuse because that's how God created me.
Hormones, so I can't help myself.
Right? So every teenager could say I can sleep around because you got hormones.
Exactly.
Right? So but there's
puberty.
but also other stuff. I mean, I have desires for nice things. So why am I not allowed to take stuff? Here in California it seems to be, okay, that if you go into a store and pull iPhones out, as long as you don't go over $1,000, I think.
You can steal it.
You can steal it, even though I saw one guy that took like 20 or 30 of them and they didn't arrest him. So I don't know. That must be over $1,000. But so you can have excuses. I can drink, but God, God created me with this desire. Then everything is allowed.
Then there's no
standard anymore.
There's no personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, it's your decision.
Yeah.
It's your, and if you have a struggle in something, having self-control is not doing it. If you have a problem with alcohol, don't drink. There's people who have no problem with alcohol. They can have a glass of wine and never have one for 2 months and be fine. But it's some people, they drink one, they're going to drink 4.
Yeah. So that's why on relationships are we always focused on, but I'm allowed to do this. Why we're focused on that? Because there still need to be restrictions, no matter what your orientation is, no matter who, right? So I could say, okay, I'm married to an Asian woman, so I could say, I'm attracted to Asians. Well, not really. I'm attracted to my wife, but I can't just say,
Wow.
I like all the Asians.
Yeah.
Right. So so when you say homosexual, okay, but wait, does that mean you just like whoever? Or no, probably not. You still need to have restrictions. So they know how to have restrictions.
Yeah.
So because even if they're in a relationship, they can't have a relationship with someone else.
Exactly.
So they also have restrictions.
Exactly. So that's the thing. There's no responsibility. It's like if I feel like doing something, I can't help myself.
Yeah.
And so where's this heading? I'm attracted to children. I can't help myself. I'm made this way. And then what? Now you're going to legalize child abuse?
Well, it seems to be normalized more and more.
That's what things are heading.
Yeah.
So, the Bible says by the time Jesus comes back, it'll be like the days of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
And what was happening? They were trying to trade out their daughters.
Yeah, that's so wicked.
It's wicked.
It's so wicked.
And so we have to draw a standard and teach people responsibility. Just because you feel like doing something, we gotta have self-control.
How far gone do you need to be as a father to say, don't have sexual relationship with these angels? Here's my daughters.
Yeah. Oh, sickening.
Right? I would have said, take these angels. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Let them fight for themselves.
These are angels. He probably would not have known they're angels.